Hello and welcome back to Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc.
Maybe it's because of all of Master's training!
You are weird, Toko. There's no two ways about that.
Anyway, so we can be sure that Mukuro suffered all those wounds after coming to this school. In which case, they could be the very thing that killed her.
As a matter of fact, it's hard to imagine any other possibility. When examining her body, I found that her stomach and head wounds came after she was already dead.
Unless anyone has any better suggestions, I think we can say this with confidence. The wounds Mukuro sustained all over her body are what ultimately killed her.
Mukuro's fatal injury has been added to the treatment
But if
list.
that's what killed her, then does that mean she's really been dead for who knows how long?
A few days at least.
That's exactly what it means. When we found her body in the garden, she'd already been dead for several days.
So then, what about the little matter of what happened last night? Makoto, you said you were attacked in your room by a masked assailant.
Yep.
If Mukuro had already been dead for several days, certainly it couldn't have been her.
Could have been the real mastermind, though.
So who was it that attacked you?
The identity of the one who attacked me. Can't think of anyone else.
I got it! The one who attacked me was the true mastermind.
Again, reasonably obvious logical deduction.
When we discovered Mukuro in the garden wearing the same mask, I naturally assumed she must have been the one who attacked me. But I was wrong. It wasn't her at all. It was the mastermind.
Got it right there.
What are you laughing at?
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just getting a little impatient sitting here listening. I think I'm gonna jump in.
Alright then, what do you got?
Let's start off with a nice, easy question. Your assumption that I attacked Makoto is just that, right? An assumption. You can't really know who was under that mask, can you? I mean, that's the whole point of a mask.
True.
The true identity of the masked attacker is Mukuro Ikusaba! At least, that's what I think. Do you have any evidence that might convince me otherwise?
There's no way that Mukuro's the one that attacked me. Even if I didn't see their face. Mukuro had a very obvious Fenrir tattoo. Compared that to the masked attacker. Should be obvious. The attacker didn't have the tattoo on... Oh, where the hell was it? The hand? It has to have been the hand, because it was being shown off there. So.
You never saw their face, right? So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba!
No, it wasn't.
You're wrong. Even without seeing their face, there's another part of the attacker we can use to prove it wasn't her.
Okay, it wouldn't kill you to actually, solve one of these things
other
yourself
part?
one time.
Is it the right hand? Or the left hand?
I think it was the right hand,
Maybe
but I can't
the
remember
right
for certain.
foot? Or perhaps the left foot? Or could it be the hips?
So I think it was the right. Yes, I think it was the right. Sorry, I just had to sort of mime the way the body was laid out.
You never saw their face, right?
Yada,
So
yada,
you
yada, yada.
can't have... I'm telling you now, it was
No, it wasn't.
No, it's wrong. Mukuro had a tattoo on her right hand, if I remember correctly. A representation of Fenrir. In other words, a wolf tattoo.
Yep.
But I saw the right hand of the person who attacked me.
No tats.
And there was no such tattoo.
I'll admit, that's a good clue to give. Because I didn't notice
So
that
there's
up until
no
now.
way the person behind the mask was Mukuro.
Yeah, Yeah, well, okay. You got me. I guess it wasn't her. But that still doesn't prove that it was me. It could have been, someone else, right?
Oh yeah, like anybody else could get into the sodding rooms.
Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I all have solid alibis for that entire night.
Thank you.
Yeah! We were in the gym tearing you apart, so it could have been
Which
any
they
of
were able
us.
to do because nobody was there to control him.
Oh, okay, sure. It couldn't have been any of you. But what about Kyoko? It totally could have been her. Uh-oh, no snappy comeback. Did I score a bullseye?
If you insist, I don't mind showing you.
Ah, the scarred hands.
Huh? Show me what?
What do you think? I'll show you the one thing that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it wasn't me.
And before anyone could say anything, Kyoko was removing her gloves.
Your hands!
Without thinking, I let out a gasp. It was more than just a little burnt
Awful,
skin.
isn't it? It happened when I was first learning to be a detective. I was inexperienced.
I thought you didn't want anyone to see those scars.
If it means we get another step closer to unmasking the mastermind, it doesn't really bother me.
Kyoko seemed to savor the words as she said them, and then she put her gloves back on.
My scars should suffice as proof. Makoto, did the person who attacked you have scars like mine?
Nope.
No, not at all. I'm positive.
Then this much has been made clear. There can be no doubt that the one who attacked Makoto is the true mastermind.
And it wasn't one of us.
This is just awful. On top of my secret being revealed, I had to look at those positively grotesque scars of yours. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I do hope I didn't hurt your feelings.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Not at all. You can say whatever you want.
Sure, as long as it means pushing me farther into the corner, right? But I'm not cornered just yet. Because if you haven't noticed, the circumstances surrounding Mukuro's death are totally unknown.
That's true. All we know right now is she was killed a good while before this morning.
On the contrary, we don't know anything other than that.
You're not going to tell us she was already dead before we arrived here or something, are you?
In that regard, you have nothing to worry about. I promise you, without a doubt, she died after our little killing game began here.
Then somehow she was killed in secret without any of us knowing.
And after she died, who knows how much time went by before we found her, right?
Depends how long you can chill a corpse for before it starts to rot. I'm fairly confident you can do it for quite a while.
Did the culprit stash her somewhere? She couldn't have been in the garden the whole time, could she?
Obviously not. We went in and out
She
of there a
was.
few times.
She would have been totally decomposed. Just like your brain.
Yeah, that's a fair description.
Then, she was being stored somewhere?
Biolab.
To hide a body here. To just store it somewhere?
There's only one place. Can't think of anywhere else the body could have been.
I got it! Mukuro's body was probably kept hidden in the biolab.
Biolab? You mean on the 5th floor?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. It's actually set up for use as a morgue. So it's the perfect place to hide a body. And it'd keep the body preserved at the same time.
Then you're also saying the body was moved from the biolab to the garden.
Using the top we found.
And I have no doubt that that's exactly what happened. In fact, I have proof.
Proof that shows the body was carried from the biolab to the garden. Something that's made its way from the biolab to the garden. Yeah, there it is. Biolab top.
I got it! What makes me so sure the body was carried from the biolab to the garden is the tarp that we found in the garden. When I was checking it over again, I noticed something. I noticed that some text had been stamped on one corner of the tarp.
Oh, it says Biolab.
Yep.
Holy cow! How'd you notice that tiny little thing?
I examined.
Makoto's nitpicky nature seems to have surfaced with perfect timing.
You're welcome, dickhead.
This proves that the tarp originally came from the biolab. In fact, there's a whole stack of tarps just like it in there.
So when the killer moved the body to the garden, they must have grabbed a tarp to wrap it in.
Simple, logical.
Then they simply left it as it was to protect against the sprinklers, and put the coat on it afterwards.
You made everything sound so amazingly consistent.
Makes sense.
That's just a wild guess.
No, it isn't.
Where's your evidence? Prove that the body was wrapped in a tarp and moved.
There is no evidence. I was simply explaining what I think happened. But you seem to be getting pretty worked up about it, wouldn't you say?
Worked up?
Oh, yes.
Now that the conversation has turned to the topic of the biolab, you must be getting pretty nervous. Because the key to uncovering your secret identity is hidden within that
There's
room.
only 9 bodies
isn't
in the
it?
biolab, and that includes Mukuru, which means there are 7 people left alive.
Are you talking about unmasking the mastermind?
You see, the biolab contained an inconsistency. One so major it can't be overlooked.
Inconsistency in the biolab? Could you be talking about...
La, I can't hear you. La 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 la.
Oh, great. We're doing one of those
Such a child.
timing
Oh
ones.
well, just ignore him.
You can tell it's coming. I need to pull myself together and think. The inconsistency in the biolab. Could she be talking
By the
about...
way, Makoto, what about that one thing?
What one thing?
What do you think I'm talking about? Your family.
What about my family? What?
Don't tell me you forgot about that video message.
Well, it was all the way back in chapter 1, and frankly, you know, yeah, it's been a while. Again, sorry it's taken me this goddamn
So
long to actually
what do
finish
you
this game, but...
Are you sure your family's still okay?
Why are you bringing that up now?
Your mom, your dad, your little sister. What do you think has happened to your family?
He's trying to push your buttons, Makoto.
Are they really as safe as you might have assumed?
Stop talking about that!
Yeah, he's trying to push your buttons and keep you distracted.
Calm down, Makoto. He wants you to get upset.
Be calm. Be polite. And have a plan to kill everyone you meet. Yeah, I need to calm down. I can't let him get to me. He's just saying that because he knows we're getting close to the truth of the biolab. So if I want to shut him up, I need to expose the inconsistency and slam him with it. And that inconsistency has to be that one area where the numbers just don't match up. There are 4 lights. Sorry.
Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? That's impossible! What? What do you want? Are you sure about this? That's impossible!
Sorry, I can't really talk
Are
while I do
you
this.
sure
It
about
throws off my
this?
tempo.
That's impossible! Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? That's impossible! What? What do you want?
Final
I'm
strike.
not listening!
There we go. I love lights.
This should prove it.
Gotcha, you little pain in the neck.
The
The inconsistency Kyoko's talking about is... the lights!
What are you talking about? What about the lights?
Like I said before, the biolab also acts as a morgue. And as part of that, a giant refrigerator was installed in there.
Unfortunately, there is one slight problem with this theory that the game's forgotten about. Namely, we don't have a body for oh, what was his name? The motorcycle guy, the one who got rendered down into butter. Because you don't need to keep butter in a morgue. As part of that, a giant refrigerator was
That's where
installed
everyone
there.
who's died is stored.
And it was set up so that when a slot had a body in it, a blue light would turn on.
Which is why we really should have opened every one of them and checked them.
In other words, if the blue light is on,
Morons.
that means there's a body in that slot.
But I counted up the number of blue lights that were on, including the one Mukuro was in, and there were only 9.
Why does that matter? You gotta give me the bite-sized version here, man.
9 lights doesn't make sense. There should be 10 on.
I got it! 10 of the lights should have been on. Any other number is incredibly suspicious.
Suspicious? Why?
That's simple. Just recall who's died here so far, and it should become clear.
That's right. Key to solving this mystery. Sayaka died first. Yunko was second. Leon was third. Chihiro was fourth. Mondo was fifth. Mondo, that's the one who might not have a body. Taka was sixth. Hifumi seventh. Celeste was eighth. Sakura was ninth. And victim number 10 was Mukuru.
So 10 people in all?
That's right. Any other number should make you immediately suspicious. But according to the lights in the biolab, only 9 people were being stored there.
You're saying a dead body just up and disappeared?
Yep.
I got it! The mastermind destroyed one of the bodies to get rid of evidence.
I don't think
But
so.
if they wanted to do that, they would have destroyed Mukuro's body, since they actually killed her. And yet, her body was left alone.
Then, whose body disappeared?
Somebody who isn't dead.
It may very well be that none of them disappeared.
But if that's true, then why doesn't the body count match?
Including Monokuma's executions, there have apparently been 10 deaths, but there were only 9 bodies. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm completely lost. How can the number of victims be less than the number of murders?
The reason there are less bodies than murders. The explanation for more murders than victims. Why is that? What would it take for that to make sense? Only 9 murders took place. There weren't actually 10 murders, but 9. That's why there are 9 bodies. Well, that's patently untrue. Counting Monokuma's executions, there have been 10 murders. I think we can all agree on that. I'm completely right,
Shoot.
so... Okay. Well, it's clearly not that one, so it must be the same person who's
I
killed
got it.
twice.
What about it?
Not
The
convinced
same
I'd
person
phrase it
was
that
killed
way, but...
twice.
Killed twice?
Officially, 10 murders have been committed so far,
Yes.
but one of the victims may have been murdered, and then murdered again.
What?
Murdered and...
That
murdered
does not make
again?
sense. Somebody faked their death. That's the simple
If
explanation.
that's the case, there could have been 10 killings, but still only 9 victims, right?
Unless you're trying to imply one of them was a zombie, but that would be dumb.
Technically, you're right, I guess. But still, something like that.
Could easily have happened. No, it is what happened.
Sounds like you're already convinced. Then can you tell us who was killed twice?
It was Mukuro, of course. Before she was killed as Mukuro Ikusaba, she was killed as someone else.
And that's why the body had to be stored in the biolab until the moment we found it in the garden.
I figured it out. I've just had a eureka moment. Okay, so I'm trying to explain this without giving away the fact that again, stupid sexy cosplayers. But that's why the particular character that I mentioned earlier always has their face facing the wrong way. Because that's not who they were. No? Maybe? Not sure. It's something to do with that. The real Mukuro was killed while pretending to be somebody else, and then swapped back? No, hang on. Now that doesn't quite make sense unless they could have looked the same, I suppose. Anyway, I have a possible theory. I'm still working it through.
No, that's crazy talk. She was killed as someone else? Come on! Besides, who could that someone else even have been?
All you have to do is look at those bodily injuries of hers, and that will become obvious.
Nothing's gonna become obvious! Because Kyoko's totally delusional!
Who died of multiple injuries? Let's face it, whoever it was has to have been female. Yeah, that's the only way it makes sense.
Who is this someone else that Mukuro was killed as? Was it Sayaka Maizono?
Nope, single stab wound.
Junko Enoshima? Leon Kuwata? Chihiro Fujisaki? Mando Owada? Kiyotaka Ishimaru? Hifumi Yamada?
We've already gone past the point.
Celestia
beyond the person.
Whatever? Or maybe Sakura Ogami? No.
There's no way anyone was murdered twice!
Yes, there is. Guy from the wind shed all over her body. There was someone else. Yep.
Who is this someone else? Was it
Sayaka?
Yeah, wait.
Junko Enoshima? Leon Kuwata?
Nope. Fuck, damn it.
Chihiro
Background,
Mando,
background.
Kiyotaki Fumi, Celestial, or
I need
maybe...
to absorb,
No,
but...
there's no way anyone was murdered twice!
Have you figured out who it is yet? It's Junko.
Who is this someone else? Was it Junko and
Leon Kuwata?
Damn it, did I miss it again?
Chihiro
Son of a
Mando,
bitch, this one's going by...
Fumi, Celestial, or maybe... No, there's no way
This one's going to be
anyone
quite
was
difficult to
murdered
nab.
twice. Who is this someone? Was it
Junko Enoshima? Leon Kuwata?
Gotcha.
Chihiro Mando, Kiyotaki Fumi, Celestia Lu, or maybe...
No.
There's no way anyone was murdered twice!
I think this is the first time I'm actually going to have to use the silencing
Who is this
thing.
someone else? That was it.
I'm not sure I can remember how to do it. Right click?
Mando, Kiyotaki Fumi, Celestial, or maybe...
No.
There's no way anyone was murdered twice!
Yes, there is.
No, that's wrong. Junko. Wasn't her fatal injury pretty similar to Mukuro's?
Massive stab wounds.
What do you mean?
Well, remember what happened to her? She was impaled by a bunch of spears all over her body.
And Mukuro died from a number of wounds across her body. When you compare that to the stab wounds Junko suffered...
Then the similarities match?
Yes, and those are the only fatal injuries that match up. That explains why those two bodies are actually one and the same.
So let me see if I have this straight. Junko, or someone going by that name, was stabbed to death with multiple spears. Then her body was kept in the biolab for however long before being dragged out again. Only this time, it was presented as the corpse of one Mukuro Ikusawa.
Which is why the greatest soldier was wearing all that nail varnish. And the
It all
full-on
matches up,
stick-on
right?
talons.
Those wounds Junko suffered could easily be these same injuries.
It's really true? Mukuro and Junko are the same person? Wait, so then... what does it all mean?
It means that there haven't been 10 victims, but 9. Which also means that among the people we thought were dead, one is still alive.
Yeah.
And that's the true identity of the mastermind?
And by definition, it has to be.
Who is it? Who's behind all
Oh,
this?
for God's sake.
We already know the answer to that. It's Mukuro. She's still alive.
No, it's Junko.
She took Junko's body and made it look like she was the one who died.
Interesting theory, but wrong.
So Mukuro is still alive. She's gotta
As I said,
be.
the reason I knew going in, well, quite a while ago actually, that Junko was behind all this is, as I've said, stupid, sexy cosplayers.
Total silence? Then I must be right. I'm right, aren't I?
Nope. Mukuro alive? The one that's still alive is Mukuro? But can we really believe that? There's no way. No way she's still alive. Alright, 3 bullets. What have we got? Probably in a profile, I would have thought.
The body we found in the garden. It wasn't Mukuro.
Yeah,
No,
profile shows that it was, yeah. I figured that was going to be the solution.
no. The body we found in the garden was Mukuro. That's one thing we can be sure of.
Fenrir tap.
The body's appearance and measurements are consistent with her records. Right, Kyoko?
She was 5 foot 6 inches tall and weighed 97 pounds. Her vitals were 31, 21, 32.
Would you really say those are her vitals? I mean,
Everything in her profile is consistent with that corpse.
And then there's the matter of the Fenrir tattoo. So there's no question it's her.
But if Mukuro's not the mastermind, then who's actually still alive?
Junko is. Someone's made it look like they died, but they're actually still alive. And there's only one person it could be. There she is.
Here's my answer. Junko is still alive. It's the only possibility.
Are you sure about that?
Yup.
Huh?
I admit, since Mukuro is undoubtedly dead, Junko does seem to be the only other explanation. But we saw her get impaled. She died right before our very eyes. If Junko were still alive, the death we saw would had to have been some kind of charade. But you yourself confirmed she was dead, did you not?
Now that you mention it, I gently placed my hand on Junko's lifeless body. Touched her wrist to check her pulse like they're doing the moves and stuff, but she really is dead. There wasn't anything else to say, she was gone. I did check, absolutely, and I can say for
She
sure.
was dead. There's no question. Junko was dead.
So,
The idea that she's still alive.
Unless that was Mukuru.
It must be wrong.
Nope. She's definitely still alive. But we'll continue this in the next part. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next part.